mama.
Why are people overlooking Justin Gaethje?
Justin Gaethje's up against it. It's a very difficult fight. Charles Oliveira beat Justin. They saw what Ilia did to Charles Oliveira. They saw what Ilia did to Max to make them believe that Justin has no chance. Justin said, I'm shooting missiles at him on the White House lawn. I think Justin's ready to do that. Either you're going to leave on the 250th anniversary of our country with an American guy as the undisputed champion of the world, or you're going to leave with a Spanish kid celebrating being the world champion at the White House. That's crazy.
The closer we get to Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje at the UFC White House card, the more it feels like the MMA world can't quite agree on what's about to happen. Usually, by the time a major fight reaches the final days before fight night, a clear narrative starts to emerge. Fans, analysts, former fighters, and commentators gradually lean in one direction, and a favorite begins separating himself from the pack. This fight feels completely different because the more people break it down, the more divided the predictions seem to become. That's exactly why the matchup has become one of the biggest talking points in combat sports. On one side, you have Ilia Topuria, a fighter who has spent the last few years turning doubters into believers. Every time people questioned whether he was ready for the next level, he responded with another statement performance.
That dude has the touch of death.
Yeah.
He has the touch of death.
And he's not a big guy. I've never seen him in person, but I was talking to somebody recently and they said, no, he's 5'7", you know.
He's small, man. He's not big.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a photo of me standing next to him when we did the podcast. We're standing next to him. He's much smaller than me. And, bro, he puts people into the shadow realm.
Yeah.
It's just technique and confidence. His confidence is crazy.
And then headlining the White House, Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje. Your thoughts on who gets the win and how?
Great fight. Obviously, I'm leaning toward the American, my friend, my golf partner, Justin Gaethje. What he brings to the octagon is different than what Ilia Topuria has ever seen. With that being said, Ilia Topuria is about the most skilled guy that we have ever seen in the octagon. But with that being said, you know, if it's a stand-up battle, Ilia's got the edge in the striking, but Gaethje brings this chaos that I don't think he's seen before. He throws punches from weird angles. He hits you with shots that you don't see coming, and you know he can push a pace for 25 minutes. We haven't seen Ilia. Have we even seen Ilia get past the second round, third round? You know, like, and that's not a knock on him. We just haven't seen it yet. So if Gaethje's able to take the fight to the deep waters and make it a fast-paced, tight-on-tour, tornado, edge-of-your-seat, chaotic type of fight, how does Ilia respond? We shall see.
Every time critics pointed toward a weakness, he seemed to find a way to eliminate it. As a result, a growing number of fighters and analysts now view him as one of the most complete athletes in the entire sport. On the other side stands Justin Gaethje, a man who has built his reputation by doing something very few fighters are capable of doing. He drags elite opponents into uncomfortable situations and forces them to answer questions they never expected to face. Throughout his career, world-class fighters have entered the cage believing they had the perfect game plan, only to discover that dealing with Gaethje's pressure, durability, and willingness to embrace chaos is far easier said than done. That's why the final predictions are so fascinating. The people picking Topuria aren't simply pointing toward his undefeated record or his recent success, they're looking at his technical ability and asking themselves how Gaethje consistently deals with someone who appears capable of matching him everywhere. Topuria's boxing is exceptional, his timing is exceptional, and perhaps most importantly, he rarely seems to lose control of a fight emotionally. Even when opponents try to drag him into chaos, he usually remains disciplined enough to continue making smart decisions. That's a major reason why so many fighters are leaning toward him. Several analysts have argued that Topuria's ability to stay calm under pressure could become one of the biggest factors in the entire fight, because Gaethje has historically done his best work when opponents stop fighting his fight rather than their own. If Topuria remains composed and forces the contest to be fought on his terms, many believe he'll create opportunities that simply aren't available to most people who face Gaethje.
We're going to have Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria to unify the belt. How do you think that's going to go?
It's a hard fight. The Gaethje that fought Paddy won't beat Ilia right now. Ilia's striking is leagues above everybody in the UFC, and the wrestling and jiu-jitsu is there as well.
Yeah,
Things have got to change Gaethje's camp to make the fight competitive.
Yeah.
But it's not saying that we'll see that Gaethje when he fights Ilia.
I feel like Topuria will be able to take advantage and knock him out.
I think it's going to be a KO for Ilia. This could be a very bad night for Justin Gaethje. Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje, White House main event. Ilia obviously the favorite. This could be a very bad night for Justin Gaethje. As soon as Gaethje opens himself up, Ilia's going to be too sharp and just catch him. I think it could be that quick as soon as he does open himself up. Does Gaethje try and shell up, be very defensive, try and take him to deeper waters, take that power off Ilia? But my pick is going to be Ilia knockout.
You fought Justin Gaethje. Why is he not getting the respect he deserves going into this fight?
I think it's because, like, even the average skilled eye when it comes to fighting, they know that Justin's a little bit sloppy at times, off balance. He puts himself in harm's way. He gets out of position a lot. And when you're doing that against a sharp puncher, a sharp counter striker like Ilia, it just seems like a bad matchup. You're going to run into big shots. And I think the average fan sees that. But Justin's kind of embracing that, like, everything's against me. I'm going to shock the world. I like that mindset for him.
One moment for him to land a clean shot, and that could potentially be it. Look at history from these guys' past few performances. Topuria typically gets the fight done relatively early and clean on his part. The other side, he takes a lot of damage. He does get the win, but he takes a lot of damage in the process. You do that against a guy who's a very technical strategist when he's in there. It's hard to say that's going to be fight of the night. I mean, Gaethje can always create chaos, but I think it just gives Topuria one moment for him to land a clean shot, and that could potentially be it.
The argument for Gaethje, however, is just as compelling. A number of fighters, commentators, and fans believe people are becoming so focused on Topuria's rise that they're forgetting exactly who Justin Gaethje is. This is a fighter who has spent years competing against some of the toughest opposition in the sport. He has been involved in wars, title fights, and career-defining battles against elite competition, and there's a belief among many observers that experience matters in a fight of this magnitude. Joe Rogan has often spoken about how dangerous Gaethje becomes when he finds a rhythm because very few fighters possess his combination of power, toughness, and aggression. What makes him especially difficult to prepare for is the fact that he can completely change the atmosphere of a fight within seconds. A technical contest can suddenly become a firefight. A controlled exchange can suddenly become chaos. That's one of the reasons so many people are hesitant to completely count him out, regardless of what the betting odds or public opinion might suggest. What's particularly interesting is that many final predictions don't actually revolve around skill, they revolve around style. The reason this matchup continues generating debate is because both men possess strengths that seem specifically designed to test the other. Topuria thrives when he's allowed to showcase his technical precision and punish mistakes. Gaethje thrives when he's able to increase the pressure, force uncomfortable exchanges, and make opponents second-guess themselves. The winner may not be the better fighter overall. The winner may simply be the fighter who succeeds in dragging the contest into the type of fight he wants.
Everybody, has different styles of fighting. His specifically is more of a boxing style when it comes to range and space and timing and, his position. He's shorter than me, and, you really don't want to have your head be too much higher than these guys that are throwing shots, missiles. Yeah, position is going to be the biggest factor in this fight. I have to control space, I have to control his feet, and I really have to be diligent in my defense. I have to constantly be winning the angle battle and the distance battle.
Justin, he has to pray to God. Ilia's like, let's make it entertaining. Points to the ground, which he does. So then it's like, all right, because Justin does have knockout power, kind of. Then he has a, coin flip there. Because Ilia does get hit a little bit. If Ilia goes, no, I'm mixed martial artist today. I'm going to take your ass down, wear you out, and then knock you out. It's going to be a tough day in the office.
That's why so many respected voices around the sport have struggled to make confident predictions. They can see the path to victory for Topuria, they can see the path to victory for Gaethje, and the deeper they analyze the matchup, the more difficult it becomes to confidently rule either man out. The UFC White House card only adds another layer to the story because both fighters understand what's at stake. This isn't just another win, this isn't just another headline. A performance on a stage this large has the potential to completely reshape the future of a career, particularly when so many eyes are watching and so many important opportunities could emerge afterwards. For Topuria, a victory would strengthen the growing belief that he's becoming one of the defining stars of a new generation. It would add another elite name to his resume and move him one step closer to the type of legacy discussions that only a handful of fighters ever reach. For Gaethje, a victory would remind the entire sport why counting him out has always been a dangerous mistake. It would instantly silence many of the doubts that have surrounded him and prove that experience, resilience, and elite-level toughness remain some of the most valuable weapons in combat sports.
The scrap, you know what I mean? They're going to come out and they're going to try and take each other's heads off, but everyone's already counting Gaethje out, and we've already learned you can't do that. I don't know, I've got a sneaky suspicion that Gaethje might pull off an upset here and surprise everyone.
It's no make sense even put Gaethje versus Topuria. It's just a waste of time.
Oh, you don't think there's any chance, based on his toughness, that he can catch him, that he can break him?
know how he cannot wrestle. If he could wrestle, yeah. But on the boxing, he drops his hand. He does jab and he drops his hand. He wants to throw his uppercut, and that moment, Ilia gonna overhook him and knock him out right away because he has no chin. Even like Perry, he touched him so easy, and he was bubbling. You know, his legs was shaking.
It was so funny. It was so funny when I was like legit, like 100 people. It was legit. There was like 100 people in the media room, and then they're asking me about Ilia Gaethje, like Ilia Gaethje's next, and I was like, "Do we really have to do this?" And I said to them, I said to the whole media room, I go, "Does anyone in this room think that Justin Gaethje is going to win that fight?" I said, "The cameras are pointed at me." I said, "No one's going to see you put your hand up because the cameras are all pointed at me." Bro, of 100 of the media, of the UFC media people, not a single person put their hand up. And I was like, why do we... Well, I'm not being sad. Like, I like Justin Gaethje. Like, we're on the same level, you know what I mean?
No matter how this shakes out. Now, obviously, everybody's looking at this fight, and I've seen the memes that are like, "Oh man, Justin Gaethje better bring a gun." Da 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 da. And yeah, it's very possible that he could get knocked out early. And if that happens, guess what? It's gonna be good. It'll be good. We'll all celebrate the knockout. We'll be like, "Oh my goodness!" But what I believe is going to happen, I don't think he gets knocked out as early and as easy as everybody else suggests. I think he makes this a little tougher. I think he puts up a good fight. And if that happens, it's going to be great. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Can Justin, and if not even pull it off, like he might even pull this off. He might pull off a Rocky.
To be honest, I don't know how Justin Gaethje should fight Ilia Topuria. I will say that just wrestling against Ilia, but Justin Gaethje he's not wrestling. But I think the Justin, he's gonna tuck his hand and try to punch like how he does, but that's what Ilia will study him. He will study him and then he will exactly punch right there, you know?
That's why the MMA world remains so divided. This isn't a fight where one side has all the answers. This is a fight where both sides have very convincing arguments. The closer we get to fight night, the less it feels like a simple prediction and the more it feels like a genuine mystery. One group of fighters believes Topuria's technical brilliance eventually takes over. Another group believes Gaethje's pressure and experience create problems that Topuria has never faced before. Both positions make sense, which is exactly why the debate continues growing louder every day. When the cage door finally closes at the UFC White House card, all the predictions, all the breakdowns, and all the debates will disappear. What remains is one of the most intriguing stylistic matchups the UFC could possibly make. And judging by the reaction from fighters, commentators, and the MMA world as a whole, nobody seems completely certain how it ends.